Hello friends, welcome to a very special video. Today we're going to go through all the steps that we did to create our raw vegan holiday feast that we had. And this will be the step-by-step from our holiday menu plan that we just released as well. So stay tuned. First up is grocery shopping. In the holiday menu plan, we have grocery lists for all 8 of the recipes that we made for our holiday feast. So we went to 2 or 3 different stores to grab everything that we needed, and the total cost was about $60. But this 8-course holiday menu feeds around 8 people, so that's actually pretty good. And the time involved is there's prep work, of course, but we love to be in the kitchen, we love to go shopping, and we love making these delicious meals for ourselves. So we went shopping, and then when we got home, that's when I started the prep the night before. We chopped all of the ingredients that we will need for the green bean casserole, the lemon asparagus soup, and the stuffing. All of these went into the freezer. We have a small freezer, so we had to somehow get them in there. But the 2 long trays is for the stuffing, and the smaller round plates were for the green bean casserole and the lemon asparagus soup. So we put them in the freezer the day before and let them freeze overnight. And then we created the crispy onions that will be part of the green bean casserole. We chopped a very large sweet onion. We put the onion in a mix of coconut aminos and maple syrup, and then added those to our crunchy, crispy mix. The recipe is in the holiday menu plan as well as in the burger book. There is a recipe for onion rings, and this is a similar one. Then we made the corn-based crust for the quiche. The Christmas quiche is one of our absolute favorite dishes to create. So we started with the corn crust, and we leveled it out into a nice giant circle. We then put the crust into the dehydrator and allowed it to dehydrate for about 2 hours. After 2 hours, we flipped it, let it dry just a little bit more, and then once both sides were fairly dry, we put it into the pie pan, just molded it to the pan before we went to bed. The next morning, first thing was to soak our cashews and our black trumpet mushrooms for the mushroom gravy and as part of the green bean casserole because we wanted to make the gravy to add to that. Then we started on our pie. We made a pumpkin spice date pie. This is the crust that had some nuts in it and carrot, and we pressed that into a ceramic pie pan, which we then put into the dehydrator. While that was dehydrating, I wilted the spinach in the dehydrator as well. That took about a half an hour. While it was wilting, I chopped up all the ingredients for the quiche. Nate opened the coconuts. We had 2 coconuts, and we blended it with a bunch of spices and some yummy stuff to make the creamy base for the quiche. Blending that up in our vacuum blender, as always, and mixing all of those chopped ingredients, can't forget the red onions, with the coconut base until it makes a nice, thick, creamy sauce that we can add into our crust. Can't forget the wilted spinach. Take that out of the dehydrator and chop it up and add it to the mix. Pour into the quiche crust and level it out nicely so that it fills the entire pie. You can sprinkle with a little paprika if you want, and then throw it into the dehydrator. And then we finished up the pie by creating the filling for the pie, which was pumpkin, but we used pumpkin and a little bit of squash, along with some dates and some coconut and some spices. Pour that into our crust that was sitting in the dehydrator and level that out as well. Topped with a little cinnamon and some anise stars. This went into the fridge to wait until dessert. Next up, I took the green bean casserole, frozen veggies, and the stuffing frozen veggies out of the freezer. And the green bean casserole ones on this little round plate I put on top of the dehydrator to help them to thaw. And these are the stuffing ingredients, which I also put in a bowl in the dehydrator to thaw. While they were thawing slightly, I mixed up the coating for the stuffing. And Nate chopped up the mushrooms and started blending for the gravy, the mushroom gravy, which was just gravy on the side as well as part of the green bean casserole. So once that was blended, we poured into 2 bowls. The white one was our gravy, and the gray one was for the green bean casserole. We topped with a little bit of chopped mushroom, and by then, the stuffing ingredients had been thawed slightly, so they were a little bit wet, and I just sprinkled on the stuffing coating. Once sprinkled, then just mix it really nice and well so all of the pieces were nicely coated. And then I added them to this dehydrator sheet. I like to use the solid one so there's less crumbs in the dehydrator after. Once they're on the tray, then just throw them into the dehydrator at 110 degrees. And here I will take the thawing green bean casserole ingredients over to the counter along with the crispy onions that have been dehydrating all day. Pour those into a bowl along with the rest of the mushroom gravy. And then add the chunky crispy onions. I saved half of them for the top and half of them for the inside. Mix it up really well. And pour into a casserole. With this casserole dish, we'll top it with the rest of the crispy onions and put it into the dehydrator to stay warm until dinner time. This will also help to concentrate the flavors a little bit and warm up the bowl slightly so that it's nice and warm when we're ready to eat. As you can see, the quiche is dehydrating quite nicely, and we're going to add the casserole to the bottom. I really like the dehydrators that have the pull-out trays in order to have space for things like this. Next up, we've got the salad, chopping all of these salad ingredients while Nate opened up this pomegranate. The pomegranate, we used half of the seeds for the salad and the other half of the seeds for the cranberry pom sauce that we made after chopping the salad. So he opened it and pulled the seeds out underwater, which helps to prevent any juice from squirting and staining the clothes. Once all the seeds are out, then you can just strain out the water and you've got your seeds. We put those aside along with our washed kale. We didn't want to dress the salad right away. We wanted to wait until closer to dinner time, so we just got everything ready to go and blended the dressing ahead of time as well. This was a spicy, creamy kale dressing. Nate cleaned a little bit while I was blending up the dressing. Poured it into a jar and we put it aside with all of the other ingredients until we were ready to make the salad later on in the evening. About 2 hours before dinner, we took the frozen asparagus soup ingredients out of the freezer and marinated them with a little bit of lemon juice, some coconut aminos, and some grated garlic. I mixed it up thoroughly and added it to another solid dehydrator tray, spreading it out so that it wasn't all in one clump. Put that in the dehydrator as well for, again, about an hour and a half or 2 hours, at which point I made the cranberry sauce. Blended that in a food processor, and at dinner time, we dressed the salad. We massaged the dressing into the salad, obviously with clean hands, to get the dressing right into all of the crevices of the kale. Once massaged, we added the rest of the ingredients and mixed it up really well. We cut the quiche. And put the stuffing into a serving dish along with the salad. And then the very last thing that we did was blend the soup base. We wanted the soup base to be warm for dinner, so that was the very last thing that we did. We put the dehydrated veggies into a bowl and added the warm, creamy sauce for the soup. This lemon asparagus soup is so good. And there we have it. Here is our holiday feast with the soup, the salad, the stuffing, the quiche, the gravy, the pom sauce, the pie, and the green bean casserole. Now, we obviously don't need to make elaborate meals like this to succeed at a raw vegan diet, but it's definitely fun. And if you have the time and desire to create something like this, it's always a wonderful option, especially if you have someone to help you out in the kitchen. All of these recipes are currently available in the holiday menu on the website, payhip.com/rawfoodromance, or link in the description box below. So you can make any or all of these recipes to your heart's desire if you want to. You don't have to wait for a holiday to make them. This salad is so delicious. The quiche is one of Nate's absolute favorite things, and he's been really loving the green bean casserole since we created it. And the soup, definitely going to be making that one again very, very soon. The extra cranberry sauce we put on nice cream, and we enjoyed the pie and all the goodies. Thank you for joining us for this special video. Hope you loved it, and until the next one, as always, don't forget to fruit on and continue to make those compassionate choices. Wishing you all a very happy, merry 2022.